Today on the bench, I want to tie you up a really good deep water chironomid, and it's called the Lucky Charm. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we'll use a MUSTAD C53S 3X long, size 14. We'll tie with some 8/0 black NANOSILK. We'll use a 7/64 inch white bead for the bead, some green 6989 FLASHABOU for the body, some red 6996 FLASHABOU for the rib, and some UV coating to coat the body. So to start the fly off, I've put my bead onto the hook, and I always like the narrow end of the bead, the smaller diameter hole towards the eyelet. Now we're taking some thread, and we're just going to wrap it on, and just, give yourself a good base layer of thread. Wind it back, cut off your excess. Now that we have the thread tied in, I'm going to take one strand of my red FLASHABOU and start near the eyelet and tie this back. And I'm going to wrap it down just so it's about halfway down the hook bend. And just wrap back up. And we'll leave that off the back to rib in later. So for the body, I've taken about 4 strands of my green FLASHABOU. Now 4 to 5, I like 4 because I am going to build this body up. If I wanted to keep it very thin, if we were using this fly for more shallow water, I would keep it quite thin. But as we're going a little bit deeper, I'm going to build this body up. So again, take it right back, bring your thread forward, wrap your thread up and form a slightly tapered head to the fly, slightly tapered body. So it is fairly thin. This NANOSILK is very thin. So, build it up, small taper, and then we'll actually taper with our green FLASHABOU. So just keep building up a small taper on the fly, finish off behind your bead, and then start wrapping in your body. Now when I start my wraps, take a couple at the back, and then I'm going to keep the back very thin, just one wrap over with all this FLASHABOU. And then as I get closer, again, like every chironomid, you want it tapered. So now I'm going to start building up that taper near the head of the fly, right behind the bead. And just taper it back, and you want it just so it starts really thin at the back and then tapers up to a thicker thorax and head right behind the eye, or behind the bead. So now that I got a taper built, I'm going to finish right behind the white bead and tie it off. Now that we have the body tied in, we are going to rib the fly, and again we just want one turn near the back, and then about, you can be anything from 6 to 7 turns up. There's 2, 3, 4, so on. And just make sure they're nicely, evenly spaced, right up to behind the bead. And I like to take one wrap back there. And we call it the Lucky Charm because it does look like a lucky charm. It's got multiple colors. And having these bright colors makes it very good for deep water chironomiding. So I'm going to just cut off that rib there. And now what we're going to do is just finish up with a bit of a black thorax behind the white bead. So just wrap in a few wraps, give it a little black color right behind that white bead, just to finish it up a bit. Now to complete the fly so it doesn't fall apart, especially when you're in catching lots of fish, just going to take some UV coat and just give it a nice little UV coating. It's a nice clear coat. I like to use a clear coat because I don't want any extra color on this fly. It definitely has enough color. And get it all over the head and all through the body so it doesn't fall apart. And this will actually complete the taper to the fly. And once you have it, nicely coated, hit it with that UV lamp, and that'll seal it up nicely. So there it is, the finished Lucky Charm chironomid. Again, we've had luck with this fly in shallow water. Water's usually about 8 feet to 12 feet, what we consider fairly shallow water. But where it really shines is down to that 20 to 22 feet. When the fish are king down there, this color combination really seems to set it off. Give it a try, it's a great fly. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfo sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one showing, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one showing, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.